Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of my F1 23 MyTeam career mode. This is part 35 here in China for another episode. And if you did miss the last episode, it was a pretty good race for ourselves. We actually got a win, and it was a very good drive through the field with some pretty good strategy from our team. So can't thank them enough for giving us that opportunity to claim the victory in Japan. As now we take a look here at performance charts. So Aston Martin are still the fastest team on the grid at the moment, but their results aren't really showing that. McLaren and Red Bull are very close in performance-wise, and then you can see there Mercedes and then it's the Ferraris, and then it is ourselves there. So we're about in the mid-pack. So definitely looking to try and keep consistent with our point scoring here, and it's actually our first time in a little bit to be in China. Last time around here in China, it was not a very good race for ourselves at all. We struggled quite a bit, so definitely looking to make amends here as we now take a look at Sergio Perez sitting in his Red Bull ready for the practice session here today in China. As now we come across the line to finish our first practice program, and it is going to be purple completion here. So looking like we've definitely got some pretty good race pace this weekend so far, and here now doing the fuel, the tyre wear here, and that we pretty much aced it here as well. So definitely looking like our tyre wear and race pace is definitely looking to be a part here. So now we're taking a look here at the qualifying run here. So I was doing alright, but I've locked up going to that final hairpin there, and I've just thrown away the lap here, and I don't really want to be using up too many sets of soft tyres here in practice, so definitely going to be ignoring this one for a while. We'll still go top of the session here, but in the end it is Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris who are your top three here, and the top three separated by less than a tenth as well. So Alex Albon and myself, they're P6 and P7, about half a second each off the pace at the moment. So definitely looking like we've got a little bit of pace that we might be able to unlock here in qualifying, but only time will tell, as now it is time to get the gloves off and try and get ourselves here into Q3. I think that's the goal here at the moment with the baseline off our performance at the moment. So now we come to the end of our first flying lap here. Felipe Drugovich P8, ourselves P10, and we go fastest ahead of George Russell, Oscar Piastri, and the two Aston Martins. And now a little bit wider on the exit. We've done a cool down lap, and now we've gone for another fast lap, and we've improved, but it didn't improve our position. So now final lap here in qualifying one, what can we do to ourselves? And it is going to be P7 in the end for ourselves. So it's Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. Very close between Norris and Leclerc, only 0.005 of a second. Alex Albon at P6, myself P7, 0.4 off the paces. Now we head into Q2 here. Kevin Magnussen's currently P4 here, and ourselves, we're currently dropping through the field as we have yet to set our time. Ocon is currently just gone fastest. We coming out the final corner here, hit the DRS button, and we try and straight line it to the start line here, and it's going to put ourselves P6 here, half a second down on Oscar Piastri in the McLaren. So need to find a heap of pace here. So in the next flying lap, we're about 0.2 up, and that's going to put us P13, which is almost immediately dropped to P14. Are we able to make it into the next qualifying session? Yes, we can. We make it into P8 there. Alex Albon also making it into Q3 there. It's currently sitting P4. Lando Norris, Sergio Perez, and George Russell are your top three there. So myself, I'm about 0.4 off the pace. Our teammate Alex Albon about 0.3 off the pace. So I don't think there's going to be a chance here for pole position, but definitely trying to get ourselves as high up into the field as we can. I'm currently sitting P10. Our teammate Alex Albon currently sitting P9 as Lando Norris has just set the pace for this final run in qualifying 3. We get a little bit wobbly on the exit of the final corner, but all we can manage is P9 today in qualifying 3. Carlos Sainz, Lando Norris and Max Verstappen, your top three in qualifying 3. We ended up nipping our teammate Alex Albon.
It's time again then for Formula One in Shanghai. Northwest of the thriving city of over 24 million people is a circuit that first featured in the championship calendar back in 2004. It played host to Formula One's 1000th Grand Prix back in 2019. The ever-tightening turns of 1 and 2 will prove tricky in the slippery conditions here in Shanghai, and anyone that slides wide will lose a lot of time getting back on track. Turn 14 should still be the best place for overtaking, but we'll have to see some improvement in the weather before the drivers can take advantage of that DRS assistance. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. It's Carlos Sainz in pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Perez, Oscar Piastri, Russell, Ocon, Leclerc, the Rainmaster, Albon, Gasly, Tsunoda, Bottas, Iwasa, Magnussen, Liam Lawson, Sargent, Hulkenberg, De Vries, Stroll, Joe, and Felipe Drugovich. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. With the Grand Prix nearly upon us, Anthony Davidson is by my side once again to offer his perspective.
Anthony Davidson, a very warm welcome to you as you join me in the commentary box for today's event.
I want to talk about AlphaTauri. We have a number of changes to the aerodynamic regulations this year, and the signs haven't looked good for them so far in terms of getting to grips with those changes.
There are a few downcast looks within the team this weekend. I think they've been hit fairly hard by the new regs. But this is only the first step down a long road of development, and even if they don't maximise their points today, there are plenty more up for grabs this season.
So as you may have seen, it is going to be a very wet start here to the Chinese Grand Prix. So we're going to be starting off on the intermediate tyres. Definitely going to be looking to make sure we get plenty of heat in these tyres on this formational lap. I've actually always really struggled to get wet tyres up to temperature. I just find that I can't weave as nicely as I can in the dry, so it's always a little bit of a struggle. So hopefully I can get somewhat temperature in them to try and help us get off the line here for this very wet start to a Grand Prix. But the weather forecast did say it should be drying up later into the race, so we'll have to see how quickly that comes around. We pull up 0.3 of a meter back from our grid spot, so definitely trying to optimize absolutely everything here. And you'll see there all of our tyre wear in about temperature at about 70 degrees, so definitely warm enough as now the lights have gone out, and it is the start of the Chinese Grand Prix here in Season 3 of my team career mode. It looks like that we've had a pretty mediocre start compared to the AI. They're currently going 3 wide into Turn 1, a very weird Turn 1 this is, unlike any other on the calendar. So now we swing around to the outside of George Russell here, but we're now kind of boxed in by his teammate Ocon, who's currently up in P7, making a move on Charles Leclerc for P6, so we're going to send down the inside now of the reigning champion and try and see if we can't make ourselves any more positions. We're tucked up behind him. Charles Leclerc looks like he's trying to go for a move here on Ocon, and we very narrowly missed the back of both Ocon and Leclerc as they kind of checked up each other as they go side by side through the right-hander there off that little back straight. Is now going into this sweeping section of the circuit. We make a very opportunistic move up the inside of Ocon, who got hung out wide from Charles Leclerc, so definitely making sure we make... Oh, and there's a little bit of contact there from Ocon. Ocon's done a little bit of a cheeky bump and run there to try and get himself back in front of us, so definitely looking to try and see if we can't get ourselves back in front of Esteban Ocon. And now back on board with ourselves. We're currently going into Turn 1, lap 2. We've received a green flag, so there's a yellow flag behind us now. I'm just trying to... I'm kind of a little bit distracted here while driving. I'm currently trying to look at the mini-map as well. I'm trying to work out what's going on. It looks like one of the Astons has gone out wide. Is it an Aston Martin? That's apparently got an issue. It looks like it is, and it is Logan Sargent out of the session, and that's going to bring out the virtual safety car. So very early safety car period here in this Grand Prix. So now we're going to have a look here to see what happened to Logan Sargent. And it looks like it was just an engine failure going into Turn 1. So very unfortunate for Logan, as we now do a bit of an order check here. So it's going to be Lando Norris leading the way from Sainz, and Verstappen is your podium at the moment. Sergio Perez, Oscar Piastri, Charles Leclerc, Esteban Ocon, ourselves in P8, George Russell P9, and Pierre Gasly rounds out the points. Currently sitting P10 for the Alpine. Is now, well, we're going to be going green now. We've had an absolute bit of a rubbish exit here, a bit of wheel spin trying to get the power down, and so now that's going to leave us vulnerable to George Russell. As now we jump forward, it's still on lap 2, but just a further bit down this very long back straight. And just as I said before, we were vulnerable. George Russell has proven that right, as he's managed to get himself back by us to get himself into P8. But now we're going to get a little bit of a better run on George Russell here, so we're going to be trying to look to see if we can't make any sort of move here. But unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get that one done just yet. Now we jump on board here with Oscar Piastri. He's currently sitting P5, and he's going to be looking to try and get a move done on Sergio Perez here. Now around the outside at this very tight hairpin towards the back of the circuit, and he's going to get the move done around the outside of Sergio Perez, and that's Oscar now up into P4. As now back on board with ourselves. We've got the 2 Mercedes ahead of us. And now that's that's Mark telling us that Perez has got an issue. We've had an absolute horrid exit coming out of it, so we might be vulnerable to Pierre Gasly now going onto this back straight. He's gained a chunk of time on us, nearly 3/10 already, just through that sweeping corner. There's a yellow flag in front of us. Is it Sergio Perez? It is indeed Sergio Perez going very slowly across his back straight, so I wonder if he's got some sort of issue. As now we have a look here at the replay of what happened to Sergio Perez, and he's got a puncture, so a very strange place to receive a puncture, so very lucky he didn't lose control of that one. And now in front of us, we've now got another caution. What could this one be? It looks like it was a McLaren possibly going slow. Is it Lando Norris? No, it's Oscar Piastri. He's gone slow, and he's pulled off to the side of the track, and that's going to bring out another virtual safety car. So McLaren, well, Mercedes actually, because Logan Sargent had an engine failure. This is another engine failure for a Mercedes power unit. So Mercedes not looking to be the best power unit to be on. And now we go green here again in China. This virtual safety car has come to an end. And now looking a little bit further back in the pack, this is now Nico Hülkenberg. He's going to be trying to get himself past Valtteri Bottas here, who's currently holding that final points-paying position, as a little bit of a pit stop phase has started with a couple of people DNFing and trying to take advantage of a VSC break. And that is Nico Hülkenberg up into P10 now. And on board with ourselves, we're trying to make it down the inside of Pierre Gasly. We've got it all locked up, and we're somehow going to keep it side by side for now. We're going to have to look to go around the outside of Pierre, and he's going to run us right off the track here. So just because he's pushed us so far off, I'm actually going to try and keep the position, but the FIA's all immediately come out and said that was illegal, give it back. So we've given the place back, but if we wanted to not risk a penalty, we had to give it back in a pretty awkward position. As now we take a look at the order here. It is Lando Norris leading the way from Carlos Sainz and Max Verstappen, and that is your top three at the moment. Charles Leclerc, the two Mercedes, Ocon, Russell, then Pierre Gasly in P7, ourselves P8, Yuki Tsunoda P9, Felipe Drugovich rounding out the points in P10, Valtteri Bottas, Liam Lawson, Iwasa, Nico Hülkenberg, Kevin Magnussen, Stroll, Nick De Vries P17, Zhou P18, our teammate Alex Albon P19. He's had to make a very early pit stop to repair some damage from the opening laps of this Grand Prix, and Sergio Perez is back out on track after replacing that punctured tyre in P20. It's now the leader, Lando Norris. He is in the pit lane. And for ourselves, we're also trying to make a pit stop here. It is definitely time for the dry tyres. The track is looking very dry, and with the likes of Sergio Perez said it's an optimal turn in here. So at the end of the pit lane, it's an optimal turn in here. So at the end of the pit lane, it's an optimal turn in here. So at the end of the pit lane, it's an optimal turn in here. So can the boys and girls down here in the pit crew get a good stop done? It's a 2.2, so excellent pit stop there from the guys and girls in the lane. And now we're going to be coming out of the pit lane here. The Valtteri Bottas has actually managed to get by us here, and so now we're going to be sending it up the inside of Valtteri. But Pierre's very slow on this coming out of the pit lane here, so he's kind of boxed us in, going through turns 1, 2, and so now on the exit of the corner, we're going to be trying to get ourselves by Valtteri Bottas, so we can try and get ourselves past Pierre Gasly, because based off his exit speed there, Gasly's not looking like he's got the pace here on the dry tyres. We get the move done on Valtteri Bottas, and now we can aim to try and get ourselves up to Pierre Gasly. And now this is on board here with Iwasa, and he's trying to make a move here on Liam Lawson. And this is going to be for the 400 points paying position as it stands at the moment around the outside at the hairpin. And it looks like he's going to get the power down. And that is going to be a very easy overtake considering he's on the soft tyres. As now we have a look here. This is now Iwasa coming through this corner. And he's actually going to have a spin here. And somehow everyone's avoided him, and as I say that, the other Williams comes into view and it wipes out the side of the AlphaTauri, and that is going to be enough for a red flag here in China. So now we'll take a look at some replays here. So Iwasa is a bit early on the power, and he's going to go for a spin here. Liam Lawson does very well to miss him. And now this is on board with his teammate Drugovich, and he kind of cuts the corner, and then I don't know if his tyres were dirty, but somehow he's managed to drive into the side of the AlphaTauri, and now looking here at the strategy for the rest of the Grand Prix. We're going to jump onto another set of medium tyres here, and we're actually starting P8, so can we get a much better start than what we did in the wet? Charles Leclerc had an absolute shocker start. Pierre Gasly is going to try and go around him. Ocon's had an even worse start, and that's boxing Charles Leclerc. So now, can we get 2 positions here by the time we're in turn 1? Yes, we can. We're going to send it up the inside of Ocon as well, and that's going to put us now P5 in this Grand Prix. So this red flag has played brilliantly for ourselves, and now, is there any chance that we could possibly maybe try and get ourselves a podium? That would be absolutely unreal if we can, considering the pace that we've had. And we're going to try and go down the inside of Ocon, but we've missed our braking point, and so we've now made an accidental overtake on George Russell as well. So now the podium is well and truly on here, but it looks like Carlos Sainz, with his exit speed he just had, and that might be a bit of an issue. And now George Russell has made himself up again into P4 there, going around our outside, and we're now battling with Ocon to try and keep Ocon behind ourselves. And now we're on board here with Pierre Gasly. He's going to be trying to go around the outside of Iwasa. And remember, Iwasa actually caused the red flag. He was the one who spun and initially caused that pile up. So he's still in the race here, currently inside the points. And that is now Pierre Gasly up into PA. But look at the run Nico Hulkenberg has got. And he's going to get himself past Iwasa and around the outside of Pierre Gasly going to turn 1. So that is a 2-for-1 move for Nico Hulkenberg. He's going to be grinning cheek to cheek inside that race helmet of his. And now back on board now with Valtteri Bottas, the other Alpine here. And he's going to be trying to get himself now past Iwasa as well. So Iwasa falling back through the field, and he is at a very large risk of losing this final points paying position. And Valtteri Bottas has got himself that move complete. But here comes Iwasa once again. He's pulled out all the slipstream, and so has Liam Lawson. They're 3 wide going into turn 2. Are they going to be able to do this cleanly? There's a little bit of contact, they're bumping into each other, but there's still 3 wide. Surely Magnussen behind them is probably thinking, where can I play myself into this and try and get all 3 of them here? But there's still 3 wide come the exit. Iwasa backs out of it. It's still Valtteri Bottas versus Liam Lawson. Is Lawson going to be able to get the move done? He's down the inside of the Finnish driver now, but it's actually going to be Bottas who's going to get the better exit, and Bottas is going to keep the position here, and that is him up into P10. But now only onto the next lap. Liam Lawson is looking with the power of DRS to get himself up into the points paying position now, and that is him into P10 going into turn 1. Now back on board with ourselves. We've skipped all the way to lap 27 now. We've just been playing a little bit of a DRS chicken here with George Russell this entire time. No real position gains. And now we're looking to the outside of him, going through turns 1, down the inside into turn 2. And can we get this overtake done to put ourselves now up into P4? The podium's well and truly out of the cards now. That's three and an odd seconds a bit away now. But is there any way that we could possibly keep P4 here? We're still side by side going around the outside. It looks like we're going to get the better exit here. A little bit of ERS to try and help us keep the position. And that is now us up into P4. But we have got, if we make a mistake, we've got both the Mercedes and the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc right behind us. And now going down the back straight here. George Russell with the power DRS is going to get back by us. But we're going to actually hang back behind him and try and use the DRS and get the move done into turn 1 and maybe squeeze him out somewhere to try and create a bit of a gap here. And so now we're going to make sure we get this last corner absolutely nailed. No track limits or anything. Try and get the power down. It looks like Russell actually got a bit of a better run on us. And so now we're dumping a heap of ERS. We've got the DRS, but it's not just big enough of a straight for us to try and make a move into turn 1. So now we're going to have to try and go again around the outside. It then gives us the inside, but this time Russell actually pinches us a little bit, so a tiny little bit of wheel contact. But again, we're going to be trying to get this move done, but it looks like we might have to be trying to go around the outside once again. But this time George Russell much later on the brakes than ourselves, so we're going to try and go for a switchback here. Are we going to be able to get it done? No, George Russell got a much better exit this time, so we're going to have to try and use the back straight here to get ourselves into P4. But as you can see, that George Russell had a massive middle sector there to pull away from us. We're defending from Ocon. We have a bit of a lockup, and we nearly rear-ended George Russell. As now Lando Norris crosses the line to claim victory here in China, and back on board with ourselves. Can we keep it P5 from Esteban Ocon? Yes, we can.
It's a performance to be proud of from our Chinese Grand Prix winners here today. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They Just looks so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
Our winning drivers are on their way to the podium right now. It's been a fantastic race for McLaren, that's for sure. And no doubt, they'll be celebrating tonight.
Well, there we have it. That was a 7th career win for Lando Norris here in China. It was a massive battle between myself and George Russell, essentially from the red flag restart to the end of the Grand Prix, and in the end it was George Russell who came out on top. As now here we take a look at the rest of the top 10 here. So George Russell P4, ourselves P5, Ocon P6, Charles Leclerc P7, Nico Hulkenberg P8, Pierre Gasly P9, and Liam Lawson in the Haas P10. So absolutely brilliant drive from the New Zealand driver to get himself into P10, and our teammate Alex Albon unfortunately could only manage P14 after having to do 3 pit stops in that Grand Prix. Now to the championship, Lando Norris leads it by 15 points over ourselves. Charles Leclerc's third in the Drivers' Championship, only a few points off as well. McLaren lead the Constructors by 15 points over Red Bull. Ferrari's third in the Constructors, 17 points off the lead. And Brabham, we find ourselves 35 points behind the lead, sitting in P4 of the Constructors. And now we head back to the HQ. The personnel department has got an issue for us to solve here. So we've got a cybersecurity threat here. So I'm actually going to spend some cash, and we're going to train our IT department to try and protect ourselves from this, because this could be detrimental to the team. And then there in the chassis, we're going to upgrade the build time, and in the personnel, upgrade the simulator. And that is going to be all for this episode here in China. So if you did enjoy it, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode where we take on the Red Bull Ring in part 36. See ya.